And Simon McGregor-Wood has been following reaction from London. He joins us now live to talk about that. Simon?
That's right. I'm standing outside the Palace of Westminster along with all the rest of the world's press. It is a febrile atmosphere here with politicians from both sides of the campaign divide touring the various booths and camera positions, giving their reaction to what has, by anyone's admission, been a fairly dramatic few hours, as you've indicated with various speeches, including that from Nigel Farage. I'm delighted to be joined by Stanley Johnson. Stanley Johnson is the father of Boris Johnson, the former Mayor of London, and one of the leading lights, your son, of the Leave campaign. I imagine he would be pretty pleased. The irony is that since this has been a divisive campaign, you, his father, have been quite a prominent campaigner for Remain.
Well,
describe your reaction to the news.
No, I'm absolutely delighted. I'm delighted for him. I'm particularly delighted that the British people have had a chance to vote on this important issue. They've had a lot of information and they've taken a view. So I rejoice, as a Democrat, I rejoice that we have come to a clear decision on this topic.
And yet, you had looked at the evidence, I imagine, in a careful, considered way, and you felt strong enough to go public and say that you felt that this country's future was better off in Europe. And your son disagreed. You must be disappointed to some.
I was one of the very first Brits to go to Brussels in 1973, about 3 weeks after we joined. I went also as one of the first members of the European Parliament. So yes, I put in 30 years. But that said, this has been a very finely balanced set of arguments, and I absolutely respect, the decision which people took. Yes, I particularly wanted the environmental issue. That's why I'm still wearing a shirt saying environmentalist for Europe, because I think these are some things which really do need to be covered on a multi-country basis, and the European Union was one way of doing that, and environmental policy was a very good example. So I did mind about that, and for me, the crucial thing now is, as we move forward, make absolutely sure that the environmental protections which we had via the EU, we nevertheless maintain somehow, and also we contribute to the further thinking at a world and European level, which needs to be done on environment.
Your son has been touted as a future leader of the Conservative Party, possibly a future Prime Minister of this country. And now that David Cameron, the present leader of the Conservative Party and the present Prime Minister, has indicated he is effectively now a caretaker Prime Minister and has invited an election to replace him, how likely is it your son will become the next leader of this party, the Conservative Party, and of this country?
He would have to put his name forward. I think he'd have to let his name go forward, to the chairman of what's called the 1922 committee. I don't want to get too technical. The Tory rules say there have to be two candidates selected by the MP, so he'd have to get over that hurdle. Having got over that hurdle, he would have to go to the party.
Knowing him as you do, as his dad, do you understand that he wants to be Prime Minister?
I don't know. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. He's a very good writer. He's a very good painter. He can do an awful lot of things, and he might decide that someone else can carry the ball.
You have said that this democracy has been served. It's been a positive debate. The decision has been made. The people's verdicts must be delivered. But it's also been a rather vicious, nasty, and divisive campaign. Well, whoever takes over has a tough job getting people to work together, don't they?
I don't think it's been. Have you ever played rugger? I mean, I don't think it's been a rough campaign particularly. Okay, some harsh words have been spoken. Do you ever listen to them in the House of Commons? Well, go to the Turkish Parliament. I've seen pictures of them jumping over benches and hitting each other in the Turkish Parliament. I don't think it's been particularly rough. And believe you me, the Conservative Party has a genius for coming together. Partly, I think, because it has a genius and appetite for power.
Stanley Johnson, thank you very much for sharing those views with us. We are looking forward to hearing from your son in due course. Have you spoken to him yet today?
I failed to reach him 3 times. I haven't mastered my text machine, but I'll work on it. I'll get there. I'll get there in the end.
Perhaps he's overslept.
No, I don't think he has.
We look forward to hearing from him. Thank you for joining us. Stanley Johnson there, the father of Boris Johnson, a man I think is, in many people's view here in Westminster, in the frame, at least to be a candidate to replace David Cameron as the Conservative Party leader, and possibly could be Prime Minister of this country by October, when those crucial negotiations with Brussels, according to David Cameron, will begin in earnest. Back to you in Istanbul.